Hello everyone, how are you doing? I don't know why I asked that question considering I won't be able to hear your response. Obviously, as the title suggests, today we are going to be making Mjolnir from literally basically every Marvel movie that has Thor in it. Obviously it is very cool, fully scaled. Really like this project. I honestly wasn't planning on really putting a video on the channel for a while, just because, as in, I literally didn't have any projects I was doing. And then I realized that this not only was a bigger project than I thought it was going to be, but I got a bunch of footage for it just because I was like recording little snippets of it. And I thought, you know what, let's actually make some content for once. If you want to see progress updates and things like that for not only this build, but just all our builds in general, Instagram right there. Whoa, look right there, that's crazy. Thanks, future me, in like 5 minutes editing the video right now. Just a quick heads up, halfway through the video or so, I also make a smaller version fully like this, except it's smaller and scaled down because originally this was made for my dad's friend's 5-year-old son, and I realized after a bit that a 4-pound hammer might be a bit too much, so we're gonna make both of those. So let's get into the printing.
Wow, great transition, me. Okay, so this piece is obviously half of the hammer, and this print literally took 2.5 days straight.
Okay. This is the 1/2 Thor's hammer. So the PVC goes in here. Got the two right here. Those. This is pretty hefty, man. Wowee.
Okay guys, so here we have all the 3 pieces printed, right? You got the 2 sides and you got the middle. Now, what I did in this 3D model, like I was saying earlier, is I made these 3 little passageways for the PVC pipes to go through. And what this does, it gives it so much more, structural integrity, because of just in general, if you swung it around, it wouldn't just like fall apart. And B, it's much easier to put together when you just line it up than it would be much more precise than me trying to just glue the pieces together. So either way, it's really good. And then I just have to push it as hard as I can together because the print is a little warped, but we'll get into that later.
Okay, so it turns out that my dad actually wants to print another one that is smaller for the kid, because the one I made is like 4 pounds. So we're printing a smaller version, and when I was in the middle of sanding this, it turns out Jake actually threw it and cracked it, so I filled it with super glue. And after a while, I'm going to do the strategy where I get a soldering iron and some leftover pieces of PLA and basically just fill it like you would do regular soldering, but instead of to wire things, it's just to fill it, and then I'm going to sand it back down to the proper shape. So I guess I can do a little clip of that. Let's do that.
Okay, well, here's the clip. So yeah, I'm just doing what I said before. I'm just basically soldering, except it's not for wiring. It is for mending the print. I'm wearing a face mask, A, because, COVID, wear a mask, and B, because the fumes that come off of this are not necessarily harmful, but they're not really pleasant either, especially if there's super glue in here. That's not really good for you. Later, we're going to be using the same strategy to fix all of the 4 warped corners on the edge of the hammer.
Okay. Now, I know this looks super dumb, but I filled it in enough so that once we sand it back down, it should be okay. Maybe. Okay, so we fully glued together the hammer now. All we need to do is, as you can see in these corners here, it warped so that on all the corners there's like a big gap. So basically all I'm gonna do is do the same thing I did with the pommel here that broke, and then just solder and fill the edges to get it not only more sturdy, but to obviously just fill the gap. And then afterwards sand that, then cover everything with Bondo, then sand it again, then prime it, then paint it, and then I think we'll be all good. Also got to put a leather strap down here, but I'll figure that out. So yeah, let's get to it.
Okay, so, we're just doing what I basically said to do the whole time this video so far. I was going to do just the 4 corners you can see, but then I decided, you know what, just because of structural integrity and because it might just be just as easy to sand down anyways afterwards, I'm just going to fill the entire seam of the 2 halves together with this PLA.
Okay, so that didn't go as planned, but I basically filled
the whole outer edge with this, and now I just need to sand it down a lot till it's smooth. There'll obviously be some dots, but I can probably film it with Bondo. Yo, look at this. This is dumb as hell. Yep, that's basically how I felt this whole process. That's literally why it took me like a month to make this hammer, just because this was so annoying and tedious. I basically just sanded the edges of the hammer. It's not perfect, but that's fine because we aren't gonna leave it like this. We're gonna fill in all of these cracks and holes with Bondo. Yeah, that didn't really work that well. So as you can see, I'm sanding the whole thing right here. That is not what I meant to say. I meant bondoing. I should just redo this clip, but I'm not going to. So basically, yeah, I bonded it all, and then once I was done with that, I had to, sand it. So here's me sanding it. And this, I thought just sanding it would, bring down all of the holes and stuff, but I ended up having to do way more coats of Bondo afterwards that I didn't record to get this down. That's a unsanded side, and that's the sand side immediately. Also, there's a little spot, as an example, that got messed up. Also, warning, big jump. As you can see, I completely just basically ditched the other hammer for now, and I'm working on the smaller one. I basically printed all the parts and then did the whole solder thing. Basically, what's been going on in this video so far, except for the Bondo, and that's what I need to do now. So that's where we are with both the hammers. Let's get into it. So, as you can see, this is me on a FaceTime with Jake right now, bondoing the tiny hammer. This took probably about an hour. And then there's another huge jump where I basically sanded off all the Bondo, did the filler primer layer, and painted it brown. And then I just taped off with this pattern I cut out right over here. And the nice thing is that I made the handles the same size, even though the hammer shrunk. So I can just use the same template for this one over here. And all I need to do is just go paint this silver. So obviously that's what I'm doing. I put a little string where the wrap should go so that I could hold it and paint it better. And yeah. Alright, so we have just painted this silver. It looks pretty good. You can still see the seam lines in ways that are not very pleasing to me. If I move this on the underside, you can definitely see the marks there. But again, this is for a 5-year-old. He's not going to really care, and I'll just change it on the final version. So let's let this dry, and yeah. Let's just let this dry. Okay, well, you just said that, but whatever, next clip. Alright, guys. So, I've peeled off the tape, and the hammer, the tiny hammer, has been painted. So now all I need to do is blackwash it, and yes, you can see some of the, lines there. It's not the best, and I'm definitely gonna just do better on the full hammer right here, but I think for a first attempt, this is still pretty damn cool. So let's blackwash it. Guess who didn't record them blackwashing? Don't worry, there's one for the full-size hammer later on in the video. I basically just got black acrylic paint and some water mixed together. So now we gotta finish this hammer. So we have a time lapse of me and Jake just last weekend, depending on when this video gets uploaded. Either way, we were just hanging out. I don't know why by the end of this video I just start like standing in one spot and just moving around rapidly. But I think I was just trying to get hot from the heater that you see spinning rapidly in the corner right there, because it was literally like below freezing. And here I am spray painting the filler primer onto the fully sanded hammer. Now this is Bondo filler primer. It's the specifically Bondo brand, just like the spot putty I used on this, and I would not recommend it. You can see how many coats I have to go over. I don't know what's up with it, but this is my 3rd can of it. I use it for the Iron Man helmet and stuff too, and in the end it works, but really I would recommend the Krylon filler primer, because this, with how many coats you have to do, it just drips, and also some little, like, this isn't its fault, but a bunch of dust and stuff got in the hammer, so I had to try and sand that out later again, and it was pretty annoying. So I would just not use Bondo filler primer. I would use the Krylon gray filler primer. Honestly, not going as well as I could have hoped, but it's fine. We're fine. Let's just go let this dry, I guess. Woo! Watch this transition. You ready? Whoa! Look, it is a hammer. It's kind of not honestly going as well as I could have hoped, but whatever. Okay guys, I forgot to record it even though my phone was in my pocket, but I have just painted the entire hammer brown. The reason I did that is just because I wanted to get a primer coat on the hammer itself too, to get it a little, just enough smoother. Honestly, now that I've painted it one color, the hammer's looking pretty good. And I think with the silver and the black wash that definitely hides the scuffs and stuff, it'll be totally good. The handle is a little low poly and there are some cut marks like that one seam right there that you can obviously see, but again with the black wash and just the fact that you'll be holding it there, I think this will do just fine. So let's paint it silver. Watch this. You ready? Cool transition. Okay, that was horrible. Hold on. Alright, so here, as you can tell, I have taped off the handle. This took like over an hour, like an hour and a half. This was like really tedious and really annoying because I have to cut out the template in tape and then wrap it around and then use an X-Acto knife to go back and get the edges really perfect and then potentially put on more tape, and that's all just for one of the rings, and there's like 11. This video was like 10 minutes long and I sped it up a bunch, and that 10 minutes literally just ended up with one of the rings being done. So that was annoying, but obviously as you can see now we're painting it silver. Yay! Before I was really doubting that this hammer was going to turn out okay, and when putting on the silver I really was thinking to myself that like, yeah, this is going to turn out pretty good, and I thought it was looking really cool. So yeah, I hung it by the string so that I could paint all of it easier. Alright, now we're on to black washing. Like I said before, there's going to be a clip of this. Basically, I just put the black acrylic paint in some water, and then I just put multiple coats on. You just wipe it off basically immediately so it doesn't get overwhelming. I had that problem with my Iron Man helmet, and I put a bit too much on it first, and it was much darker than expected. Okay, so, oh my god. So as you can obviously tell, that heater just turned on for the whole house, and that was very loud, so I have to voice over this, but there's not much to show you. I basically just, black washed it and got it a little bit of a more weathered, darker look with some of the black that just makes it look more like it does in the movie. It's not just pure shiny. It's been like used and worn down a little bit.
Dudes, it's done. It's dry. I finished it. I did it.
The reason I sound so excited here is because, like I said before, this literally took like about a month to make because A, schoolwork was just a little overwhelming that past month, and also I just was really lazy and didn't do it for a while, so it just is really nice to finally finish this for once, and it looks really good.
Oh my god. Okay, wait, let's take this down. Holy crap, guys. This is actually one of the coolest things I think I've actually ever made. This thing weighs, I weighed it like a while ago. This weighs 3.5 pounds. It literally feels like pretty heavy. Look at this thing. That's incredible. I really like the brown I was able to get on here. And although Jake broke the pommel, it honestly, like you can, if you zoom in, you can like tell that part's a little weird, but like it literally is totally fine. Oh, dude, right after this, I'm gonna do like a sick lightning transition into the cinematic shots right after this. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy and you want to, you can like or subscribe to the channel. If you want to, you can leave a comment of what you want us to build, anything along these lines, Marvel, Star Wars, DC, really anything that you're interested in. That'd be really fun to know from you guys. I know I've said it so many times in this video, but right here, Instagram tag, this is where we're posting basically all of our content. We're barely posting on here right now. Also, I have the files for the big hammer and the small hammer both on hand, so if any of you are interested in those files, I can upload them to Thingiverse for you to get for free. Depending on when we have an Etsy store, if we make one, I might also sell either the parts or a fully finished hammer on there, so updates will probably be on Instagram. But right now, I'm working on a Captain America from the Falcon and Winter Soldier version shield that I'm printing right now. A video will hopefully come out for in about a month, maybe a little more. Definitely in the time that the show is being released on Disney Plus. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned, and there will definitely be progress updates on the Instagram. So go follow that. That was me making Mjolnir. And until next time, happy building.